Have you ever thought about how your assets are held and whether that structure actually protects your wealth? Let's talk about how you can structure your India asset if you are relocating outside India, or you want to set up a family office, or anyway you want a optimum holding structure for the India asset. So why do you need a structure at all? So to segregate business assets and personal assets, to have flexibility to use the wealth the way you want from a succession and a ring fencing perspective, and achieving higher return on investment. Now, what are the different forms of holding entities? It could be a trust, it could be a LLP, it could be a company, or there can be a hybrid structure in place as well. So let us understand what a trust structure will entail. So you need to consider whether it should be a discretionary or a determinate trust from a ring fencing and succession perspective. Who shall be the trustee of the trust from a control and management perspective? Whether settler can also be a beneficiary of the trust. So it will entail inheritance tax implication and safeguards. And if you are relocating outside India, whether you can add India non-resident beneficiaries in the trust, because India non-resident beneficiaries would have or would want the funds in their hands. And the last thing, how you will make sure of your ongoing personal guarantees from a business risk mitigation perspective. Now, secondly, many people also use a company to hold real estate and operating business, but they are not always an ideal structure for the personal wealth, because company structure entails a higher taxation at the company level, and also at the time when the funds are distributed to the shareholder, there is no succession or ring fencing of wealth. And if the directors are NRI, there could be a permanent establishment or the POEM related issues as well. And nowadays, LLP structure is also prevalent because LLP is also a separate legal entity. And in LLP, there is a comparatively lower tax as compared to the company structure and lower regulatory compliances. If you are a partner and you repatriate outside India, then you need to see whether you can repatriate or take out the capital or current income, and the India FEMA will kick into place. In real life, no one size fits all. One may also look at the hybrid structures depending upon the specific facts. You can have a company or LLP, and above the company or LLP, you can have a trust structure in place. So before you finally make your decision, what all tax and regulatory consideration you need to think about? So from an income tax perspective, you have to think about whether the income tax will be applicable on accrual only, or it will be applicable upon distribution of income. You also need to think about, if you are relocating outside India, what all the overseas tax implication would be. And as I mentioned before, that OEM and PE related issues will also need to be taken into consideration from a control and management perspective. From a regulatory perspective, you need to consider, if you are a resident and making a gift to a non-resident, then the FEMA doesn't allow those kind of gifting. And you need to also consider the NBFC or CIC issues and compliances. And lastly, you need to think about the stamp duty implications as well. So in the end, structuring your assets in India is for anyone who wants to grow their wealth for clarity, continuity, and control perspective. So stay tuned and follow me for more updates. Thank you and have a good day.